We are live, live, live. All right, everybody, we are live, live, live. That's right. We're here to discuss tonight's War Games Survivor Series 2024. And of course, since it's Christmas season, I have Santa Claus with me to do Santa Slam coverage of tonight's Survivor Series.
Ho, ho, hello, everyone.
Since we just went live, we can just kind of hang out for a sec and mingle amongst ourselves before we start to dive into the whole results. And as a matter of fact, let me share the link out to the good people here.
And how are you hearing me? Okay.
Oh yeah. You're all good.
Good, good, good. They just updated everything on Apple, so I just wanted to make sure all the bells and whistles are whistling and belling.
they are. They are. Even more so than anybody else. They are. They are. How about that? All right. Got my link. Let me share it out.
And just so everyone knows, I am the only Santa wrestling commentator in the business.
Yeah. Right. How about that? You are not going to go anywhere else to any other wrestling show with coverage of the WWE show or any show and have Santa Claus recapping the show with you.
Exactly, exactly. And I was around when Abe Lincoln had his matches, so I know more about wrestling than anyone.
See that? You got it going on. Put this here. We'll let some more people come on here as we're both live on Facebook and YouTube. All right, there we go. All right, people. We're going to get into it. Sadly, Santa only caught the two War Games matches. So if anybody wants to join in and join in the coverage of especially the middle matches of the show, please feel free. But starting off the show, now, first, before we even get into the actual show, War Games to me has always been my favorite gimmick match of all these things. Royal Rumble's probably a close 1B, but is it me or it just has not lived up to the hype since the originals in the 80s?
My honest opinion, I think they overthink it.
Hmm.
Uh, the weapons I cannot. I hate. This is war games. The cage is the weapon.
Yeah.
You don't need chairs. You don't need tables. You don't need. And to be honest with you, I I would say I don't think anyone who competed in one of the war games ever watched the war games before because they just did not know how to do it. So no, I would say I don't think they're living up to the original hype because War Games was one of my favorite back in the day,
Hmm.
and Royal Rumble was always my favorite. But War Games, I loved. I loved the concept. I mean, I used to love when they had the roof over the cage more
Yeah, yeah. I,
because
I I mean, without the roof, you know there's going to be the jumping off the top of the cage, or there could be some outside interference, or like we saw tonight, where Roman had to climb into the cage to get in.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
But nothing will ever be more iconic. Was it Doctor Death who was pressing and hitting the top of the cage with someone?
yes, yes. But I think the big problem that I saw tonight, between both cage matches, between both War Games matches, is I don't understand how you're doing a cage. You got 10 people in a cage. And with this, like you said, Santa, they even included weapons. And you have no blood.
You know what? I didn't even notice, but you are 100% correct, because that was always, the cage was always the end of the feuds,
Right.
and War Games was the big climax. And I agree. I agree. Yeah, weapons and you, yeah, not one person. I just real, but you know what? I'm so used to not seeing blood,
Right.
unless it's AEW, which I think if they fart, they bleed. But
Yeah, but surprisingly so. You go back a couple months ago when CM Punk had his cage match with Drew McIntyre, and they both bled like crazy, which was great and added so much to it. And I think in turn also took away so much to both matches tonight. We got some
yeah,
comments already popping on. So all right, let's get into the first match. The opening match of the show was the Girls War Games. I, going into this, honestly thought this match was going to steal the show. I thought the girls were going to overshine everybody else on the show. And boy, was I wrong.
there was a theft, all right, because everyone in that match stole money.
I was very disappointed in the girls tonight.
I'll be honest. I really question the booking and who in the back can honestly look at that and think that was a great product. I mean, again, nothing against the women, but if you can't do it, don't. The thing that stuck out to me, and I texted you, was when Nia went to hit Naomi with the chair. She put her hands up, she stopped and said, "Oh no," and then hit her on the side. That
That
just
that whole opening segment with the chairs and all in the very beginning of that match killed that whole match because it looked so bad. That spot you were saying, and the chair shots just looked so weak. If you're gonna bring weapons into this match, that's
yes.
supposed to be the most violent match of the year, and supposed to be like also like you said, the end of the feud match. You gotta lay it in there, and usually the girls don't have a problem laying it in, but for tonight, for some reason, when it came to the weapons, they didn't lay it in.
I'm gonna disagree with you. Whenever it comes to weapons, they do not.
Really? Okay.
They're always pulling back, and it looks bad. I mean, let's start from the beginning. Naomi having to wear a happy birthday hat because it was her birthday
Lame.
looks stupid. And she runs to the ring. She goes under the ring, grabs a kendo stick, and Nia's just standing there like this. Come on in the ring. Come on. You just watched her grab a weapon and you let her. And then each time someone else, let him grab a weapon. Never did they cut him off.
Well, how about this? Every time they came down to get their weapon, you would think they knew where their weapons were. And nobody did. They had to search. They didn't know where they had they were looking on both sides of the ring. They were all lost.
The more I see Nia Jax, the more I wish they had just never brought her back. I think her and Naomi are just awful. And for two women that have been in the sport as long as they have, they're just green as grass when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, I don't want to sound like a naysayer, but it was just awful from beginning to end, from bell to bell.
The I felt up until Tiffany Stratton came in. She came in and she was laying it in. Her stuff looked
Yes.
good. And same with Io Sky. I think those two
Mhm.
were the definite bright points of the match. But everybody else, I was very disappointed in.
I've never been a fan of what's his name's wife, the one with the purple hair. Why am I forgetting her name now? That's because every one of her performances is forgettable. Um, Johnny Gargano's wife. She was on Liv Morgan's team. Candice.
Oh, why was she there? Candice LeRae.
I have been saying that about her whole run in the Fed. Why is she there? But I mean, besides, I'll tell you who I thought looked really good and stood out. Tiffany Stratton, who she's constantly delivering. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley always brings it.
Yep.
And I would say Bayley to a point, but Bayley seemed off.
She seemed off tonight. She's like usually my favorite, and I praise her, but I thought it was a bad performance tonight.
She's been off since she came back, and I don't know if she just isn't feeling what she's doing, or Naomi, like I said, for as long as she's been in the business, should be a lot better worker. Nia Jax, I've just given up on. Bianca has potential, but she doesn't seem sure of herself. And Liv Morgan, I don't see what everyone sees in that one either. She's a good heel.
I think she's great in the role she's been in the last couple months.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole thing with her and Rhea has been phenomenal, and even the build up for this War Games I thought was a lot better than the actual match tonight.
Yeah. Rodriguez, I don't know what happened to her. She was a lot better in NXT. And she's just
I don't know nothing about her.
She had a lot of potential. I thought she was going to be up there with Rhea.
Okay.
But I know she got some kind of illness. I'm not 100% sure. And but she just, ever since she came back, she's just been another one who just isn't living up to the potential. And that kind of sums up this whole match. They went for this big, oh my gosh, moment with the double dives off the top.
Mm-hmm.
But it took so long to set it up, and you're watching everybody. And Io Sky, I'm sorry, that's just, you can't see where you're going. Yeah. And there's no way being in a trash can like that can give you the rotate. This is coming from two guys that have been in the ring. That rotation, that to me was just unnecessarily dangerous. And if you think about the whole match, that's all anyone's going to remember.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, I was like I said, I feel like she was definitely one of the bright points of that match, and the big point was that spot.
Exactly, because I'll just to prove my point. Who did Rhea pin?
I was gonna say, as you were saying that, I was trying to remember what the actual finish was.
Yeah, exactly. When you can't remember something that you literally watched a couple hours ago, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
It's
so Chris is here. He says, "Let's go.
We've been going for 15 minutes, Chris. Where the hell you been?"
Eric Efron, Nia Jax sucks. They should have
Agreed.
replaced her with Chelsea Green. She was the shits in that match. Chelsea would have made it more exciting, yes.
I think Chelsea would have made it more entertaining. And Chelsea isn't afraid to lay some stuff in. She's grown on me since she's come back. Nia, I don't see why they even push her. Yes, she's big, but she's like if you take her male counterpart, who I would say would probably be Bronson Reed.
Okay.
eh,
There's a big difference in talent between the two.
Yes, and it's just, they constantly keep trying to shove her down our throats, and it's just obvious that she just can't, and she's very unsafe.
What did you think of when Tiffany Stratton pulled the Money in the Bank out of the trash can and she had the option to pin either Nia or Liv? Did you think she was going to do it, or?
You know what? And I think that was a dropped opportunity.
Yeah.
I think that was the dumbest. They could have. That would have been something original. It would have saved the ending of that.
Yeah.
I think they should have dropped the hammer on that, because who would have expected it?
Yeah. It just wouldn't have had the payoff for Rhea and the feud.
But does Rhea really need a payoff?
No.
I mean, when Rhea's over no matter what she does.
Yeah.
So Rhea doesn't need a payoff. To me, the payoff should be the match itself, the pay-per-view, the surprises. That would have been something no one saw coming a mile off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I definitely think they dropped the ball on that one.
All right. Michelle Stern. What's up, Michelle? Nia is the worst. She doesn't belong in the ring. Nia's got a lot of fans, right?
You know what? It's just she's the great Khali. They keep pushing her because of her size, but she's just not good. She's not entertaining. I mean, the only thing I remember that she did memorable was when she fell on her butt on the ring and yelled, "Ow, my hole."
I didn't see that.
Oh, you got to look it up on video. It was live on a Monday Night Raw, and she cracked her butt on the edge of the ring and literally yelled, "Ow, my hole."
Oh, that's hysterical.
But that's the only thing anyone remembers of her for.
Stan Collins. What's up, Stan the man? All right. Tim Mendeville says hello. And, of course, we knew this guy would be waiting in the midst. The one and only Magic Mike is in the house.
So overall, I definitely thought that they could have. I don't know. It didn't deliver.
It didn't. But read the comment. Magic Mike says he loves Nia. He's the only one I've ever heard say I love Nia.
I've heard rumors about Mike and big women, so we're just gonna leave it at that.
Eric Efron, I hope you saved me some cheesesteak. Come on, yo. There ain't no way I'm saving cheesesteak. Sorry, I love you, bro, but it's not happening.
Oh, that cheesesteak, that I was ashamed of you.
Come on now. That thing was so good.
I saw roll. Any self-respecting cheesesteak maker would never have roll in the picture.
Oh, well, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm not working with proper rolls here. You got to remember that.
You still shouldn't see any white. That should be all meat and cheese. Damn you.
All right, so the next match up, match number 2, was for the U.S. Championship. It was L.A. Knight defending his top title against the one and only Shinsuke Nakamura.
I really wanted to see this match.
So I'll tell you what. They brought. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. So I don't really watch the weekly shows, but I mean, I guess he's been MIA for a while, and they brought him back about a month ago to do a run-in on LA Knight to set this up.
Yes, yes.
They repackaged him, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with them, but they keep dropping the ball in Nakamura. The guy can compete with anyone. Puts on hell of a matches. Entertaining. I just don't. They always push him, and then when they get him this close, they kind of pull it all back.
What do you think of this new gimmick he's doing? Do you like it?
I like that they're doing a darker version of him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he can pull it off.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see where they take it. Unfortunately, they just, like I said, they always take him to where it looks like they're going to give him that push finally. Because this is one guy that I think should have had a run with the belt by now.
Right.
I mean, any place else, he's a world champion.
Going into this, I'll say this. I was very, very excited for this match. And I was very excited to see that he was back with a little repackaging. And I was actually disappointed in the match.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait for you to watch it to get your opinion. But the match overall, I was disappointed in. LA Knight, and I say this every freaking time, there's something about him that just don't work for me. I feel like he's almost there, but he needs something.
I agree with you 100%. I feel like he's one of them guys that because I've seen him have good matches with everyone.
Yeah.
His work rate's there. He can cut a promo, but he's just missing something. And you know what I think it is? I think it's because he's a face.
I think you're right there. It was funny because as we were watching it, Coco said, he reminds me of a guy that's cutting my lunch meat at the meat counter in Publix with a good build.
Yeah. I like I said, he brings it, but he doesn't bring it, if that makes sense.
It totally does. It totally does, because that's how I feel with him every time. And he usually has great matches, so that's why I expected a lot more out of this match. Mm-hmm. And the match overall, I was disappointed in. But I will say, I was happy to see, and I kind of figured they were going to do this. They put Nakamura over, because if they didn't, it would be stupid. Why bring him in and repackage him and have him lose?
Yeah.
So they put him over for the strap, which was nice to see. But I feel like it needs to go darker with this new gimmick.
And obviously this is probably for something after Mania, but I would love to see him feuding with Cody.
Nakamura?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And
that would be interesting.
Yeah, and you could take it into some dark spots with him.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
And honestly, I wouldn't even have a problem with him being a transitional champion. Setting something up. Like right. I said, I think he should have had a run long before this. He's always in the mix. He's always up there. But they just, for some reason, don't want to pull the trigger on him.
It's interesting.
It really is, because when you look at like some people they have pulled the trigger on, like Nia Jax,
right,
or even Bianca Belair, you're like, well, why aren't they pulling the trigger on him?
See, but with Bianca, I feel she's over as fuck, so I get that, and she must be a good person in the locker room. I'm guessing with Nia, again, she must be a good person in the locker room.
I don't care if she's on the friggin' nice list from here to eternity. It ain't justifying that woman being in the ring.
Well, according to Magic Mike, he's loved Nia since day one. Eric says he's disappointed in the title change. Hopefully means something big for LA, like a Rumble win.
I doubt that.
Yeah, I do too.
I just
do
don't.
too.
If I'm going to give my prediction now, I think the Rumble winner is Punk.
I was going to say the same thing.
Because either him versus Cody or him versus Gunther, who I'm assuming will still have it, draws more interest for me than anything. I don't think, although you're still wondering what the whole angle is with the favor that Paul Heyman now owes him.
Of course.
And what that's going to play into. So definitely could be interesting. But yeah, unfortunately, I see Knight getting relegated to that mid-card position.
Yeah, I agree. And Magic Mike says he loved the match, but he's not into LA Knight at all, which finally something we agree with Magic Mike. He feels that LA Knight is overrated. I don't feel he's overrated.
Nah.
I feel he can work his ass off,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just missing something.
You know what I think? Like I said, a heel run with a good second, I think would put him. Or you know what he reminds me of? A Tully Blanchard. You put him in a good heel faction and let him play that Blanchard role, and you got gold right there.
That's what I think. He needs something like that to bring his character along.
Yeah.
Let's see. Eric says Nia is lucky that her cousin is The Rock and is a board member. It never hurts, right?
Well, keeps his daughter working.
Yeah. And Magic Mike says he was 4-1 in his picks tonight. Actually, I think I was 5-0. Probably 4-1.
Yeah, well, I unfortunately both of the war games were telegraphed tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mike says no way, Tully, not even close. I mean, I could see him in that role. I think that's what we need.
We're not saying he's Tully Blanchard, schmuck. We're saying that in that type of role. What am I even arguing with you for? You like Nia Jax.
Now, something else that you missed that you did not get to see was there was a commercial, like a live commercial they did, and I don't even know who the girl, just a blonde girl, a guy, a little guy, and then that Otis dude came out for True Classic TV T-shirts. But I want people's opinion on this because Otis came out of the dressing room. He put the shirt on, but he had no pants on, and he was walking down the hall, no pants.
So it was probably Alpha Academy.
Okay.
Otis, Tozawa, and LA Knight's old female manager.
Okay.
It's another one. Her name. So that's probably who it was.
Well, I would like to hear some people's opinions on that commercial. All right, here you go. Maxine Dupree.
That's it. Otis is a guy I think they dropped the ball on too.
Yeah, that dude, I mean, he's a huge dude and he can move.
And if you look at his stuff, it all looks like there's no reason he shouldn't have been up. And they were giving him a push. And if you remember, they even let him win the Money in the Bank. And then they
really?
Oh yeah, he won the Money in the Bank. And they gave the case to somebody else. He lost. If I'm not mistaken, he lost the case to Dolph Ziggler. If I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that was a while ago.
Yeah, it was a very awkward run because, like I said, I thought they were gonna, because he had everything going for him. So it seems like these writers have an idea, but then they write themselves into a hole and they don't know how to get themselves out of it, and they just have people disappear for no reason.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the next match up was the Intercontinental match. 3-way. We had Ludwig Kaiser?
Kaiser. I love that kid.
Versus Sheamus versus Braun Breaker. And this actually, going into this, I was like the least match I was really concerned or worried about or wanted to watch. And in my opinion, stole the show.
You know what? Sheamus has been around forever. But when you put him in there with someone who he knows he can go with, they will lay in, and I guarantee it.
Yeah.
And Kaiser's fantastic. Kaiser is so underrated.
He's for a little dude, he was standing toe to toe with those two guys, laying it in there.
Yeah. And like I said, Braun's got the potential.
Yeah.
I really think he's definitely someone that would benefit from a manager.
He's another one, like, I feel, again, needs something.
Yeah, I would like to see, like, him with Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of have Heyman guide him, and, because he's got all the tools, and I definitely think he's world championship material at some point.
Yeah.
He's just got to refine his work, and I definitely think he needs that mouthpiece.
He definitely needs that, and it's not really clear if he's a face or a heel.
They're still trying to feel it out.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Sometimes they just they think they're going one way, and they see, LA Knight's a prime example of that. He was a heel, and the crowd was just getting into him, so they did the right thing by turning him into a face.
Right.
And I think that the crowd wants to cheer Braun.
Mm-hmm.
See that. Because every time he faces off against a heel, the crowd's into it.
When they teased a couple weeks ago, too, him and Jacob Fatu,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that people were going nuts for that.
Yeah, that was.
So the 3-way dance is really, like I said, I thought it stole the show. Naturally, a lot of hard hitting, a lot of nice spots, a lot of false 3 counts, a lot of interferences, a nice finish. I just thought it was a great complete package of a match. It actually started out slow for the first couple minutes, but then about 3-4 minutes in, all the way through, it was high speed, and it was on.
Who'd they put over?
Braun retained the title.
Who'd he pin?
Sheamus.
Okay, good. I'd rather see that than him pinning Kaiser.
Yeah. It was good. It was really, really good. Nice finish. Everything looked good, and looked good for all 3 of them. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I would have liked to also seen on this card Because I don't think he had a match. Did Gunther have a match?
Yes.
Oh, he did. I
Yeah.
didn't even know he had a match. See,
He was in the next match.
I'm stupid.
Him versus Damian Priest for the title.
Oh, that's why I blanked it out.
This was the match, the one match I'll check off as a loss for me, because I kind of thought they might put Damian over.
No.
But yeah, they did not. Gunther went over. Wasn't that good of a match. It was okay. Usually Gunther's matches I truly love, because
Mhm.
he works his ass off, and
Yes.
very, very stiff, and a lot of hard working going on. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying they didn't do that tonight, but they tried doing a gimmick early on that Damian hurt his shoulder, so it made the match kind of weak, and was not a fan of the match tonight.
Damian, I don't see him as the guy. I see him as that high mid Carter, the Tito Santana type.
Okay.
I just don't see him as the guy, and it seems every time they push him, he's meh. He was much better in Judgment Day.
Well, what's his name interfered? I will say that. Finn Balor.
Of course.
Which in turn pissed Gunther off, and Gunther ended up, I think, smacking him or hitting Finn for interfering. Okay. Yeah. So, but it was interesting. Like, you were for a second, you were like, "Oh, is Gunther turning?" But yeah. I mean, it was kind of a match.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Damian Priest is just one of them guys that before the bell, he's fantastic. Bell to bell, he's meh.
It's and I hate to say it, because I love the kid, and I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of what he's done.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping to see him with the belt again at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I was thinking about it during the match, the best thing I saw him do was cash in the Money in the Bank and win the belt.
Yes.
His actual matches, sadly, have not really impressed me, unless, I think he did the one mixed tag, him and Rhea against Dom and Liv. That was a really good match, but I think that was because of the other three in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, it's again, nothing against him. He just doesn't seem to have the oomph factor.
See, I think he's got way more oomph than LA Knight.
Yes, I will agree with that. I just, again, I hate to keep saying this, and it might be just that these guys are a victim of the writing, but it's always like, it just seems they can't get anybody over that hump lately, and the only ones that get over the hump are the ones that get themselves over the hump. And I know wrestling is, you have to get yourself out there and get yourself noticed. But, I think these writers just don't know how to get people over.
Right.
I mean, Tiffany Stratton is over, and that's all because of her.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's true. Let's see. Let me do this one first. Eric says, "Good thing that censor was there. We didn't need another Mike Tyson show in the Gluteus Maximus." He's talking about Otis, and that's kind of what I thought they were going for, was the Mike Tyson thing.
They probably
Yeah.
were. Although, come on, man. Anyone who saw that has to think that was the funniest damn thing when Tyson just walked out with his bare ass.
Otis looks like Ram Man from the old He-Man cartoon, and he's not as big in person. That's funny.
Oh yeah,
Ram Man.
when he was in Philadelphia, I had a chance to see him up close. He has a short little fire plug.
Oh, really?
But like I said, the dude's strong as an ox. And definitely gets it. And he was over at when they let him win Money in the Bank, like to the point where like he was probably one of the most over guys they had. But someone got scared and pulled back his push.
Interesting. Magic Mike says my second favorite match of the night was the three-way, and he thought Braun was amazing. Let's see. Eric thinks they need to bring back Cornette to manage Breaker and Knight.
That would be great, but
It'll never happen.
Yeah, Cornette's not coming back. He's set. He said it. He's happy sitting home and
he doesn't like to leave his house. Yeah. How can you bring on someone that didn't even watch? Very simple, because he's Santa Claus.
How can we let someone on here who likes Nia Jax?
Boom. I thought the match was good. Gunther booted Finn. Let's see. EJ Blom, what's up, EJ? I'm not a fan of the character, but just about every match Gunther is in is a banger. Agreed. Totally agree. It really is. And this one was a bit disappointing. And
I think that's the problem with Gunther. He brings it so much that when he has that one rare off night, everyone gets all bummed out because you're expecting him to just light somebody up.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? He really didn't light up Damian at all that much.
I'll be honest, too. I think having him lose at that stupid Saudi Arabia thing was a momentum killer.
Yeah, they kept referring to that tonight during the match.
That whole concept was just stupid. Because no matter how you slice it, you're killing one of your champions' momentum.
Yep.
Like, you have Liv Morgan taking out Nia, but then like not even a month later, they're all buddy and working together.
Right. Exactly.
What would have been good is if you had Nia like crush her in the cage.
I love Damian, especially that I knew him and worked with him before he went into WWE. Here's an old name blast in the past. Denise Hoops. What's up, Denise? I missed the beginning. What did you think of the show? Overall, I was disappointed. I'll say that. I was disappointed.
I think from what I saw, being one of their big 4 pay-per-views, it just didn't deliver. But then again, you know what? A lot of times the big 4 never do. It's the throwaway pay-per-views that sometimes come in there hotter. I mean, this is the setup for Rumble, and Rumble's the setup for Mania. But to me, I unless they're ending the whole Bloodline feud,
I mean, that's what they should do.
Because I thought that was going to go until Mania. Because I don't actually see where that feud's going now, because that wasn't the ending I expected.
Me neither. I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
So all right, let's talk about it. Let's since we're up to the last match already.
Okay.
I felt and we talked about this before the show went live. The one thing they did wrong, first off, right off the bat with the girls' match, was you gave the faces the man advantage or woman advantage.
Yeah, it makes
it
no
don't
sense.
work. It don't work. I've never seen that in the history of War Games.
No, no, and you've seen it affected it because, like, okay, the faces are up every, you know, there's no drama.
Yeah.
Um,
It's like you're
but
missing that hot tag action coming in from
yeah.
the face.
Now with the men, I felt they did it right.
Hmm.
They got the man advantage. I like the way they paced them
Hmm.
and the order of everybody coming in. And of course, when Jacob Fatu gets in there, he takes it to another level.
Absolutely. And I thought it was nice too the way Solo stopped Tongaloa from going in and put Jacob in before him.
Yes, yes, because it gives you like the illusion of a strategy,
Yeah.
and it just made you feel like, okay, this is pretty cool, you know. Again, you know what? I really, the weapons to me, eh, I think it just takes away from the whole war games concept.
Well, it was kind of funny that the girl. I think almost every girl, except for the two that started, brought weapons in. But
Yeah,
with the guys, two or three of the guys didn't even stop to grab weapons. They just ran right in.
yeah. Nor, I mean, again, you're in a cage. Why will? How many times did anyone use the cage tonight besides to climb up and jump off?
That's the thing. In the classic war games, like you said earlier, the cage was the weapon.
Yeah,
And every time somebody was thrown into the cage, they were busted open and bleeding.
I mean, to me, I'd love to see them bring back the cage with the roof.
Yeah.
You know, but I didn't have a problem with this match. I love the pacing. I think everybody in there came in and held their own. I like that they keep teasing you with Jacob Fatu,
Hmm.
like when he was just cleaning house and leaving everybody laying.
He's truly the future of the company.
He's long overdue, and hopefully they don't drop the ball with him. Because he's, you know, if Roman Reigns is going to pass the torch, I think that's the guy he passes it to.
Now, the thing with this whole bloodline feud, etc.
Mhm.
So, we get a nice, very solid War Games match out of it. Um, I like the way they did the finish. Um, but where do you go from here? Where do you now have, we'll say 10, but it's not technically 10 involved in this. Where do you what do you do now with these 8 or 9 guys in this feud?
So, at some point it's going to be the Tongans versus the Usos.
Well, I think you're going to see Jey Uso get a huge singles push and get possibly a belt, a major belt.
I I don't know. I don't know. Like, he's definitely proven himself.
Hmm.
Um, but I think them two are going to be working the Tongans at WrestleMania.
Hmm. Okay.
Um, and remember, we still got two that didn't debut yet.
Right.
Um, Zilla and I forget the other one.
Hikalea.
Hikalea, yeah. And they're two big boys. So I'm wondering if that is I'm wondering if that is going to be they're going to play in before Mania.
Well, how about, did you feel like, all right, the finish of the match was great, worked perfect for the gimmick, the angle, the
Mhm.
storyline, and then afterwards it just kind of fell flat because you were expecting possibly The Rock to come out.
Yes, yeah, I was expecting another shoe to drop. Whether Punk did something
Right.
or Sikoa had something up his sleeve,
Right.
and they kind of just left you like wanting more.
Yes.
But you, like, again, if they were going to debut one of the other two, that would have been the perfect opportunity. While they're in there celebrating, have Hikuleo or Zilla come in and boom. Now the numbers games are against them again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, because the setup I think is going to be Solo versus Roman, of course. The Usos versus the Tongans. What they're going to do with Jacob Fatu at this point, I don't know.
Right.
I would like to see them do something meaningful with him because I love the gimmick on how he's grateful for Solo bringing him in and
Yeah.
giving him the
Yeah.
shot, and he's like loyal to a fault.
You always hear him screaming, "I love you."
Yes, yes. Well, I like that they're playing in the fact that WWE for all those years was hesitant to bring him in,
Mm-hmm.
and because of his legal problems, and they're kind of playing that into the gimmick now. Because I don't know if you saw the one promo where Jay confronted the Bloodline, and and he says, "What the hell were you thinking bringing in Jacob? None of us we stayed away from him for a reason." So they're really playing it up. So I like where they're going with it, and I
Hmm.
definitely think he's an interesting character. I could see him going with, you know, uh, I think they should keep up the streak of him just what he's doing.
Yeah. So Mike thought the show was an A, and he's expecting to see Rock versus Roman at Mania.
Possibility.
And Denise says she didn't care for the show at all, and she's not a Nakamura fan.
Okay.
I'll say I'm a Nakamura fan. I was disappointed in his match. The show, I thought the three-way for the IC was the match of the night, and a close second was the guys' War Games. So I'll give the show a B minus. That match was the match of the night. So Mike thought the men's cage match was the match of the night. Gianni, what's up, brother? What's up, brother? Santa. I have one wish because I've been very good, boy. Raise the effing banner. There you go. Go to change.org and sign the petition. We're up to 702 now as of earlier. So go sign.
There is no reason that banner shouldn't be raised by one and done.
Absolutely. Kyle Thomas. What's up, Kyle? What's going on, brother? He made it. He's here. He's in the house. Mike says it had that Savage Luger feel from War Games 95. I didn't see that one.
Can we cut him off? He's drinking.
Kyle, Roman versus Solo will be interesting. I think that's. I mean, if they're going to keep this going, I think that's where to go with them for Mania.
It is, but you know what? I think that's flat.
Well, that's what? How many? 5 months from now? I think that's why it's going to be flat.
I know. I think it's flat because I think Roman's flat and I think Solo's flat. Roman is good because of what's surrounding him.
Yeah.
But Roman on his own, he's just not as. I mean, I just he's better in a group, and Solo is over because he's the main, instigator.
Mhm.
But at the same point, like, that match does nothing for me. I could care less about it.
Yeah. Yeah, in 5 months, I think even more people are going to care less about it.
I definitely want to see where they're going to take this whole bloodline feud, because unfortunately it smells of something where they're going to write themselves into a corner,
I think they already have.
and then just don't know how to get out of it.
Yeah. That's why I was expecting The Rock come in to add something to it as a way out somewhere.
Well, I thought he was going to be the fifth member,
Yeah.
to be honest. And I like the swerve with Punk and Paul Heyman bringing in Punk. I'll tell you, who was flat in this match, and he's usually a little Sami Zayn.
Yes.
He was so forgettable in this match.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Mike's, I guess, drinking some PBRs.
He's probably eating a PB&J.
Michelle says, Bay, you're being nice. I'm giving the show a solid C. Now, what's the favor Paul owes Punk?
That's interesting, because, like, I mean, if Reigns was champion, that would definitely be a something that you could see. But I mean, I'm really, it's got me curious, because, like, what does Paul really have to offer Punk? So I definitely want to see what the favor is.
Well, the only thing I can think of what the favor would be is somehow, some way, imagine Roman gets the strap back and Punk wants the shot.
Yeah, but where would you do that at? I mean, because you don't have, you're not going to put Roman versus Cody before Mania.
Mm-mm.
Although Punk versus Roman at Mania would definitely draw some interest.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that would be more interesting than Roman versus Solo.
I agree. And it would be a better match.
It would, because I'll tell you, I know a lot of people don't like Punk, and the quote unquote hardcore wrestling fans. But I'll be honest, since he's come back to wrestling, I've enjoyed everything he did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, his AEW stuff was really good. He just didn't want to work with a bunch of children. And I can't blame him for that.
No, not at all.
The way them guys act over there, it's like the team it's like watching a football game and a team's losing, 30-0, and the guy makes a tackle and celebrates.
Yeah.
That's AEW in a nutshell.
They're bringing in new members now. I've heard a possibility of The Rock bringing in a third bloodline to make it a three-way feud. Now
it's starting to smell like NWO.
Yeah, exactly.
Where they had NWO Red, NWO Black, NWO Latino, NWO Japan, NWO Northeast Philly.
The only WO that matters is the CWO, the Chubby World Order. How about that? Magic Mike says he thought Sammy was spot on. Again, PBRs.
I think he's drinking way too much.
Yeah.
He's got them beer goggles going. That's why he likes Nia.
NWO ABC. It's true. It's true. CM Punk and Roman could be a future feud for Paul Heyman. It could be. I think that's a direction.
The seed was planted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And also too, the very ending shot, if you notice, Punk went to the back, all the way to the back at first, and he came back out. And when they were all doing their thing at the end, Punk came up and he went in front of Roman and did this.
Yeah, that's what he did the other night too. Um, so I again, I have no problem with that. I would rather see that than Roman and Solo.
Hmm.
You know, and maybe that's what they're building up with this favor. You know, is and again, that to me is a Mania worthy match.
It is. It totally is. And you got Paul in the middle that's trying to
Yeah,
decide whose side to be on, and
and then you have Lesnar run out and make it a 3-way. the winner,
uh,
the winner gets custody of Heyman.
honestly, I said tonight, um, when Roman stopped Paul from going out, or stopped Punk from going out, um, I was like, you watch. I don't think he's going to leave the cage now at all. And then we're going to see Lesnar come out and take his place.
I mean, like I said, they got some interesting things they can do with it. So, um, I definitely think that would be, for me, I think that would be a better way to go.
CWO for life. Denise says, looking forward to your show. Haven't seen Breaker or Doug in a long time. May 3rd at the 2300 Arena. If you don't know, during the day, WrestleCon, and at night, One and Done. Lots of stuff's been announced so far. New press release went out today. It's all over the place, so go check it out. And a lot more announcements coming soon.
I'm gonna make a news breaking announcement about One and Done right now. You ready?
I'm ready.
Santa Claus will not be wrestling at One and Done. Sorry.
I can confirm that.
I know there was a writing campaign, and I thank those 2 children. Your candy canes will be in the mail, but
Oh,
no, but
too funny.
seriously, you got something good going on there, brother, and you're bringing back some nostalgia. If you guys aren't on board, man, they're working on some. I've been privy to some insider tips, and I'll tell you, man, there's going to be some good announcements coming very soon. So you keep and sign up, man. Get that banner raised. Come on.
Go to change.org. Let me look right here. Let me see where we're at here. 703. So we need 297 more.
So
Go
I'll
to
tell you what.
change.org.
If we get those 290, I will run to the ring in my underwear to hand deliver the banner so that it gets raised.
That's a sight to see in itself.
And I will do it to the Chariots of Fire music.
Do it a la Otis style.
I will.
Kyle says, I have not seen Braun since NXT like 2 years back. I might pull up the pay-per-view at my friend's place tonight. Go check it out. I'd like to see and hear your opinions. As I said, I thought Braun's match was match of the night, and match number 2 was the men's cage match.
I'm going to tell you something about Braun. I like him, and I definitely think he's got all the potential in the world. I think the problem with guys like Braun, Carmelo Hayes, and these other guys is the NXT isn't working as a feeder system. I always compare it as you're training someone to work at McDonald's by having them start out at KFC. It's 2 different products, 2 different systems. And that's why I feel like those guys aren't getting over as much as they should. I just feel that they're not getting what they need down there.
Hmm.
And I would like to see them figure it out somehow, because like in the days of Ohio Valley, once they finished their stint in Ohio Valley, they were ready for the big show. I just don't feel the same is it's the same with NXT. Which is surprising me with Michaels in charge, that these guys aren't ready. Because if anybody knows what it takes, it's him. You know. But I always go back to too, when you look at their trainers and their agents, it's a bunch of guys that never made money in the business. Good guys, good workers, but when you haven't made dime one, do you really know how to make dime one?
That's where I'll announce I will be starting working for NXT next week because I fit that qualification.
Honestly, you're as qualified as everyone they got.
Mike Ferrer says it's so funny that they didn't have him as a Steiner, and you know what? I've said that from day one. Not that it's funny. I don't understand why they didn't.
Yeah, like the same thing with like Pillman. Like he's Pillman. He's a Pillman.
I like what they did with him. I don't know what they're doing. I haven't seen since the initial change, but why do you put?
I really like that kid, and I think he has a lot of potential.
I do too.
I think that AEW kind of regressed him, because I thought he was a lot better on the indies, and I think he got into that AEW style, and now he's coming out of it. And I'll tell you, the kid can work a mic, and he does a great angle. I think they should embrace the whole loose cannon gimmick like they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to distance himself from his father. I don't get that. But I definitely want to see them do something with him, because
is he on TV much, or I never watch NXT.
NXT, it's only an hour show, so they only got a limited
time.
Yeah, or is it 2 hours?
You know what? It is 2 hours. So I watched when they were at the arena a couple weeks ago. It was 2 hours.
Yeah, it is 2 hours. So but they got a lot of people down there, and unfortunately, I think they're in the same mode where they get people stuck in their head that they want to push,
mm-hmm.
and they shove them down your throat, and you're just like, they're not as good as they think they are. Well, they got a lot of potential now.
Well, going back to this Bron Breakker thing, I don't understand why you call him Bron Breakker, but you acknowledge at every turn who his father and uncle are, and he's wearing the classic Steiner gimmick. Like, you really did nothing. I mean, he wrestles like his brother and his uncle. He really does nothing different. Why the name change? Why not just call him a Steiner?
I don't get their whole, like, everyone knows Ava's the Rock's daughter. Play that up. That would be more interesting than her pretending that she's not the Rock's daughter.
Right.
The same thing with, when they had, like, Kurt Hennig's kid in. And, all these second-generation kids, people are nostalgic, man. They want to see these kids wrestle. They want to see them do something. I mean,
3/4 of the roster is just that. It's second and third generation people.
Yeah, so why not embrace it? You could have.
Kyle says Frank Cody running down to the arena in his underwear. Ha 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 ha. Will Bay join you? If we get 1,000 signatures, I just might.
I'm dead serious. If we get that, I will deliver the banner to the ring in my tighty whities. And
Brian Pillman Jr. I wonder what WWE would do with him if he joined, but I love his indie stuff.
I did too. And when he went to AEW, I was like, oh, good. He's gonna. And they just dropped the ball on him. When they did the Dark Side of the Ring on his pop, and you seen like how much that kid overcame, that was when they should have pushed him to the moon.
Mm.
And I was glad to see WWE pick him up because I think they'll do a lot better with him and give him the opportunity.
Let's see what we got here. Not David Sammartino.
I don't even know what that means.
I guess he's talking about second and third generation wrestlers.
There was nothing wrong with Sammartino Jr. He just hit that. He just didn't have a personality. Well, actually, I'll take that back. He had the same personality as his pop, but it was 30 years too late.
Yeah, it didn't work in the new generation of wrestling at the time.
Exactly. Just putting a guy out there that was strong and could wrestle.
So let's see. Any other questions for the dynamic duo? Well, Mike says straight up, he sucked.
But Nia Jax doesn't? I don't think so.
So what's the next? Is there any more of these PLEs for WWE at the end of the year, or?
No, I think this is it for
the year.
Yeah, I don't think they're having anything for December. And then January you have Royal Rumble, so they may squeeze something in before Rumble. Like a throwaway. Right. I know NXT will probably have one.
Well, I think they have one next week.
Oh, okay.
What was it? They plugged a couple times. There's a show I think next week.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Long days, workshops, full force, elves running around. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But no. The problem with NXT is they got a few people there that definitely I'm looking forward to their call up, like Trick Williams. A couple of the women there I like a lot more than some of the ones they have on the roster. But the problem is if you call up people and you still got all these other people, there's just no room.
Kyle says Nia Jax doing her usual diva squash matches gets very repetitive.
You know what? I can't even say that usually I'm a big fan of that style of booking for a monster, but she just doesn't look believable. Like I said, if you look at Bronson Reed, like when he climbed up to that rope, when he climbed up to the top of that cage and dove off through the table,
yeah,
you were just like, holy crap.
Yeah.
And everything he does, like, that's what Nia Jax should be doing, but she just, she's just like very slow and she's very off balance.
Yeah. Saturday night's main event is December 14th. Is that on Peacock as well, or
NBC?
So I guess we can't watch it on Peacock.
You don't have NBC?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't have cable. I don't have news. All I have is Peacock.
That's all you got?
That's it.
Oh. Shame you don't know anybody that works for Comcast.
How about that?
Anyway, I mean, it'll probably be on Peacock afterwards.
Probably.
Um,
Oh, it's on both. All right, good.
there you go. Uh, I'm interested to see what they do with that. Hey, Mike, is that on? Is that going to be on at like 11:30 at night, or have they announced the time? Because that is something I've seen yet on what time it's on.
Yeah, that's a good question. Mike said the show next week is Deadline. So I guess that's NXT Deadline.
Yeah, NXT,
Okay.
and I don't even.
What's your opinion on WWE going to Netflix and possibly Mike Tyson versus Logan Paul at WrestleMania? You want to go first, or
Um, I think the Tyson Paul match was the dry run for WWE. Get the kinks worked out. I'm not as worried as everyone else was because if you remember when Peacock first took over, they did WrestleMania and they had the same problem where adjusting the bandwidth and all that, getting that. So uh, I honestly think it's a mistake because a lot of people have cut Netflix because it's gotten too expensive. And then I discovered that if you let Netflix with the commercials on, it's a hell of a lot cheaper. So, but I definitely don't think you're going to have the same audience you would have having it on USA. Because, like I said, with the economy, I think that was a mistake. But we'll see, and then we'll see how they do with the PPEs. Um, I don't think Tyson's going to do anything at Mania.
yeah, I mean, I'll start with the Netflix thing. I'm excited by that. I think it's going to be fun because I think we're going to see a little bit more, obviously, um,
Uncensored?
uncensored, adult-driven content.
I'm curious to see if they do that.
Yeah. If they don't, it's pretty freaking stupid.
Um, that's one good thing about WWE right now with the new management. They kind of seem to listen to people, and I definitely think they want to do something different to get wrestling back to where it used to be.
Right.
I mean, I don't think they listen to this, but I'll be honest. You want to get wrestling back to the glory days. Restore wrestlers as your agents and have guys that made money in the business be your bookers. You know, when no other agents come running out, it's like, hey, there's that guy. He never made a dime. Hey, there's that guy. He never made a dime. There's that guy. He made even less, and I think he owes money.
I'm going to put that on my resume when I send it into them.
I've never made a dime in the business. I'd make a great agent. If that's the case, I should be their head of booking.
But as of Tyson versus Logan Paul, honestly, I mean, on one hand, it absolutely makes sense. On the other hand, I don't know if Tyson wants to be bothered after that last showing. It was really bad.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's almost 60 years old. I think he just wanted to get that last payday in and last run in the sun. I will say this: I think at some point WWE is going to. It's on at 8 p.m. That
Yeah.
sucks. I would have rather watched it. I'll still watch it at 11:30. Um, I will say this: I definitely think they're going to bring in Jake Paul at some point, and them two I think would make great heels. And if he can work like his brother, man, that they will have some solid stuff,
Right.
Because I'll say one thing about Logan Paul. I know people don't like him, but that kid doesn't. He doesn't phone anything in.
No,
He learned
I
how
have no.
he learned how to work, and
Yeah,
he
I have
worked.
no problem with his matches and his work at all.
Yeah. So I could see them like doing something with his brother at some point, because actually every time he's out there and in a match, I half expect his brother to pop up at some point.
Yeah,
And I'm
I mean,
really surprised he has.
I think that's only a matter of time too.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. But yeah, I want to see what they're going to do. I mean, I'm excited for the first Netflix show in a couple weeks, because I definitely think they're going to go all out and maybe do some surprises. So, I mean, that might be another reason why they didn't do too much tonight, because in 2 weeks, you know, they may be saving the.
Where'd you go?
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I think maybe they may be saving some of the big stuff for the Netflix debut.
Well, let me just throw out there real quick. Anybody got any other questions before we sign off for the night? Frank, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I'm gonna hit the bed. I gotta fly to Slay out all day tomorrow.
Yeah,
If
Santa's got
anyone
a busy schedule.
if anyone's in Media, Pennsylvania tomorrow, festivities start at 2 o'clock. I'm bringing one of my reindeer, legit. So you can bring the kids out. That's Media, Pennsylvania. The parade is at 5 p.m. And then after the parade, you can get free photos with yours truly at the Franklin Mint Credit Union on Baltimore Pike. So if anyone's in Pennsylvania and wants to come out and have a good time, bring their kids, it's free.
It's a beautiful thing. Logan's making tons of money and he wasn't even there tonight. Well, actually, he was, because his prime is all over the place. So,
Yeah. Well, we know he's making it. He doesn't actually, Mike. He was making tons of money before he came to WWE. He's a millionaire. He doesn't need the money.
yeah, exactly.
Thank you, brother. So, no, I'm good. Like I said, I enjoyed the main event. I'll watch the other ones and send you over my opinion. But for one of their big four, I think they could have put forth a better product.
Nice. I agree. Totally agree. Like I said earlier, I thought it was a B minus. I think, Michelle, you're right. I was being too nice. I will come down to a C. Again, match of the night, I thought was the three-way, and a close, all right, a distant second was the men's cage match.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And without seeing all the matches, I can tell you the women's match was
Yeah.
the least desirable match of the night.
Agreed. And I thought this would be the most desirable match of the night. So there you go. So
I knew just by who they had in it that
I had high expectations, I guess. I don't know.
Well, you had 10 women in there, and only 3 of them can carry a match. So,
oh, excuse me. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. Everybody, thank you again for tuning in. Santa, thanks for hanging out, being part of the show. Make sure, if you haven't already, go subscribe to the channel, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Subscribe, follow, and make sure you get your one and done and WrestleCon tickets, 2300arena.com. They're on sale now. And Santa, any other plugs tomorrow? Media, Pennsylvania, anything else?
just if you want to, if you visit me on Facebook at Santa Kringle, you can see all my free visits. I got them all throughout the area. So bring the children out. You know, I always glad to see you. Even, you know, you want to talk some wrestling with Santa, you can. It's always a good time, man. And I got plenty of plenty of events, plenty of free stuff, man. So please bring them out, because I'd rather you bring them out and pay instead of paying for them all.
There you go. All right, everybody. Have a great night, and we'll be back soon with some more wrestling talk. And hope everybody had an amazing Thanksgiving.
And if I don't